So we're gonna start this off. I want to see kind of like a where you're at right now. Okay.
Okay.
So all I want you to do is aim at the target. 10 shots, center mass. You know the X in the center.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see if you can get that.
Okay. Great. Close. Whoop. Oh man.
All right there. Okay. So if you notice there, you got 10 shots.
Yeah.
Your score is 88,
Okay.
right? Our maximum score is going to be 100.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So our goal now, when we go through this, we're going to go through the process and kind of show you what you're doing wrong and things like that. So when we go through that process, we should see that score increase.
Okay.
All right. So we'll see what we can do on that one. Right.
Okay.
All right. Hello. Welcome to Condition Orange. I'm Alvin Thompson, and this is Chad.
Hi.
Chad really has never really shot a lot.
No.
No?
Not much.
So we're going to go through a little bit of like basic handgun training. We're going to learn a little bit about stance, how you grip the gun, how you pull the trigger. So hopefully we can just improve what we just saw on the screen a little bit earlier. In this range here, we're going to make sure that everything's safe. We use these laser enabled airsoft guns. Okay, there is no live ammunition here on the scene. Chad, here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and take the weapon. Now, I'm going to have you remove the magazine. There you go. There you go. So the first thing we always want to do is make sure that the magazine comes out, because that's getting rid of the food. The gun doesn't eat if there's no food in it, right? Now go ahead and lock the slide back to the rear, kind of how we showed it before. There you go. Perfect. All right, so by doing that now, I want you to look down the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Just inside there, look down the magazine well, and then look again. Nothing's in there, right?
Nothing in there. Yep.
That's expected because we're using no ammunition, nothing like that. But we're going to treat these just like they're real guns. Okay? All right, go ahead and put that down. All right, Chad, so here's what I want to do. I'm going to kind of talk you through this stance, okay? All right, so what we're first going to do is I want you to kind of get in a comfortable stance. Make sure your feet are about shoulders width apart. Okay, so that looks really good. And then our knees are apart, slightly bent, and then put your upper body leaning slightly forward, and then move your strong side foot slightly back. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. It can be as much as just your toes. That's probably fine. Is that comfortable to you? That's the biggest thing we need to think about. Okay. What kind of sports have you played in the past?
Oh gosh, soccer. Played a lot of frisbee, that kind of thing.
So really a lot of frisbee, right? What you're really looking for is you're looking for a comfortable athletic stance, really is what we're looking for, okay? The big thing is to make sure that when we're shooting, we're slightly forward. Okay, not a lot. That's a little too much. Okay, we want to be slightly forward on that one.
Okay.
All right, how does that feel?
This feels good.
Good. So we're going to talk a little bit more about grip.
Oh, sounds good.
Okay. The grip is very important because that's what's going to keep your weapon steady.
Okay.
It's what's going to keep the weapon in your hand when it goes boom. Right? So that recoil is not going to knock it out. And then what it also does is it allows you to keep your sights steady.
Oh, yeah.
So just remember that your grip and this right here is going to be your most important features when it comes to shooting a gun.
Oh, okay.
We get those two things down. Trust me, everything else is a cake, really.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So the first things first, we're going to go ahead and get the slide to go forward so that we can do that. I want you to grab with your dominant hand. I'm guessing you're right-handed. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, we want to make sure that we're holding that gun as high up as we can so that this right here is nice and tight up against the back of your hand.
Okay.
Okay. Do you see how that is? Okay. Then we want to make sure our trigger finger is along the slide here so it's not touching the trigger yet.
Oh, right.
We want to keep our finger off the trigger and out of the trigger guard until we're ready to shoot.
Makes sense.
Okay. If you notice here, he's got his fingers wrapped here and he's got his thumb right here. The thumb's going to move here in just a minute once we put our whole grip together. All right, now, what I want you to do is I want you to take this hand, and you're going to use kind of the meaty part of your palm right here.
Okay.
Okay? Right here. And I want you to put it in this space. Let's show the camera here. That space right here, I want that meaty part to go right there in that space, kind of covering the whole thing up. You'll notice that your thumb now is kind of facing this direction.
Yep.
So if we were to show the camera, this is something called the thumb forward grip. All right? The fingers kind of wrap around, and then this wrist breaks just slightly, pushing forward this way. Just pushing.
Okay.
No, your hand stays the same. But your grip, your wrist kind of breaks a little bit, pushing your thumb forward.
Oh, gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? This thumb stays there, but your wrist breaks slightly, pushing that thumb forward. There you go, just like that.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
We're going to show a close-up of this so everybody gets a better shot of what this looks like on this side as well. Okay? Now this time what I want you to do is I want you to pick up the gun.
Okay.
Okay? And I want you to get that good sight picture or that sight alignment that we were just talking about, okay?
Yeah.
Remember, equal light, equal height.
Equal light, equal height.
So the top of that sight
Yep.
is lined up to the top of those sights.
Okay.
And you're going to have an equal light on either side that you
Yep.
kind of see that gap in the back there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So you see how that is?
Yeah. Equal
Now-
light, equal height. Yep.
When you're looking through those sights,
Mm-hmm.
now to get your sight picture, you're looking at equal height, equal light. You're going to aim it at an object. Remember that your front sight needs to be crystal clear.
Ah. Okay.
Your back sight and your target's going to be slightly blurry.
Okay.
Okay? And then to make sure, if we look at our diagram here, to make sure you're hitting where you want to, you'll notice how it's kind of cut in half. The middle of that target's cut in half. Again, we'll show that to you guys here in a second. But you'll want to make sure that then wherever that front sight is, it kind of cuts it in half.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That's what your sight picture is supposed to look like.
Okay.
Nice and crystal clear on that front sight.
Yep.
The other back sight and the target itself is a little bit blurry.
Blurry. Yeah.
Perfect. If you do that, that's fantastic. Now we're going to go to something called trigger press or trigger control. And that's how you're going to be able to keep your sight picture nice and steady all the way through the trigger press. So we're going to start working on that here in just a second.
My right eye.
Okay? We figured out how to hold the gun.
Yep.
We figured out stance.
Uh-huh.
Got a nice, comfortable stance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we figured out what a sight picture is.
That's right.
So now we have to figure out how to pull the trigger.
Oh.
Trigger's important because the last thing we want is we want a nice, steady trigger press so that we don't disturb that sight picture we just built.
I can see that.
Okay. We have to remember that is probably the most important part of shooting is the trigger press. As long as we can do that nice and smooth and it doesn't disturb our sight picture, you're going to pretty much hit every time.
Be more accurate.
More accurate. What we have to know, though, is where do we put our finger on that trigger? Well, what we're looking for is we want to make sure that our finger goes about halfway. That's where the trigger goes, between the tip of the finger and the first knuckle.
Okay.
We want that trigger to go right there. We don't want it all the way at the tip. We don't want to go right there at the tip, but we also don't want it on the knuckle.
Okay.
By doing that, it's going to help us control that trigger a little bit better.
All right.
Okay. And our trigger press comes in 4 stages. First thing is prep. And what I mean by prep is you've got the gun right here, and if you notice, you notice how the trigger kind of moves a little bit as I'm pulling it? So what that means is that prep is coming to the wall where it kind of all of a sudden gets hard. We want to do that fairly quickly. Boom, we're there. Okay. Now we got to go ahead and press the trigger nice and steady without disturbing our sights all the way through until the gun goes boom, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm providing that pressure, and all of a sudden it goes bang. All right, there we are.
Right on.
Follow through is really simple. We actually want to kind of get our sights back on our sight picture back up. We want to be back on target before we release the trigger. Once we get there, we start to release the trigger until we hear a click. There it is. There's our click. That way, we've reset the gun and it's ready to shoot again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let me get you to show me a good steady trigger press. So first off, we prep it, right?
Right.
We go until you hit that wall. You hit the wall?
Oh, a little fast there.
A little fast. So let's try that again. Okay.
A little fast there.
Okay. So let's do it step by step.
Okay.
First thing, we go to the prep, right? So we just go until we hit that wall. So you kind of move it back until you feel the pressure, right?
There it is.
There it is. Now you're going to nice steady pressure all the way back until you hear that. Don't release yet. Now you're going to slowly release until you hear that click. Boom. There we go. But we don't take our finger off the trigger after we hear that click.
Okay.
We don't go too far.
Gotcha.
Okay. So let's try that one more time.
Okay.
Prep.
Prep.
Steady pressure. Release it until you hear. There we go. And now we're reset.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that feels good.
There we go. So that's our trigger press.
Oh.
Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put all this together and we're going to see if you got any better.
Oh, okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Ready.
Pressure is on.
All right.
We've gone through grip.
Yeah.
We've gone through sight picture.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone through trigger press. We've gone through stance. So we're going to put everything through, right?
Okay.
We're going to do all that stuff together. Remember, our trigger press is the most important. Nice, smooth, and steady.
Right.
Making sure that our sights stay as steady as possible.
Okay.
Keep that sight picture right there on that X.
Okay.
We're going center mass.
Okay.
We're going to fire 10 shots. Let's see what happens. That's 10. All right.
Wow. Okay. That's a little better.
So our first time through was 88, right?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And now we're at 99. You only missed that center mark one time.
That's much improved.
So if you want to, we can pull that target in.
Okay.
All right. Let's bring
Yeah, I was paying attention to that trigger.
Yeah, the trigger is really important. Yeah. But you notice you've only got that one shot right there, kind of low to the right.
Yeah.
Everything else is in that center. You know, yes, the X is where we're aiming, but everything's in the 10 ring. Before you had stuff in the 9 and the 8, everything like that.
All over.
So just that alone has already made that much of a difference, right?
Yeah.
We're good. All right, Chad. So we've seen that your score went up.
Yeah.
Pretty dramatically, right? From an 88 to a 99.
Amazing.
Max is 100, right?
Yeah, I was focusing on that trigger finger.
That trigger was probably really, really important because that is the most important part. And so when you kind of add all that stuff together and you just start really paying attention to some of those little minor details, you can really increase that ability. So, Chad, I really appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to another opportunity, right?
Yeah.
It's always fun to get on this system.
Fun.